Yes, I don't know this stuff.
Well, I can hum just ones for you. A lot of them are slow and I like the way I wait it. Like this is sort of meditation.
Are these music tapes? Are these music tapes?
Yes. These are tapes of mine. They're 20 shekels each.
I've got, I realise I've got tapes of yours, but they're meditation tapes.
Yeah, these are just music. These are just music.
I'm glad I'm doing music.
What is This was yesterday, wasn't it?
This year.
No, this one was yesterday. Okay, anybody here we can work out finance?
I told you what I said. I wanted to start.
Yeah, it's managing.
Come on. When you look at the programs of the paper,
How much?
Are you guys usually free on Wednesday mornings? One of the places I go to the beach, I
The Messiah is coming before lunch, so.
And on Wednesday night, she just tried to begin circulating those poems.
Rosh Hashanah got angry and then used it as a kiko and went into the festival.
They're going to get the gewalt. I want you to know something. Whenever you decide not to do something, then you can help doing it.
Well, I've always said from the first seminar we had with you on prayer, my prayer has gone downhill like nothing. You know, I mean, just it's like, so I'm expecting my anger to just flourish. You know, having done this, and it just I can't thank you enough for.
Yeah. What I want to tell you is, Rabbi Nachman says, the moment I decide something, how are you? How come I haven't seen you so long?
Yes,
My fault.
it wasn't here. I wasn't Vienna.
Yeah, they did. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. This is really. Imagine I tell myself, from now on, I never get angry again. Or what happens 5 minutes later? I have 2 billion reasons to get angry, and brother Satan, who is at this point joined by his wife, Mrs. Satan, because her husband is too busy, he cannot manage all by himself. So, he mamish gets here like crazy, right? So, you know what Rabbi Nachman says, and all the rabbis say the same thing. Don't say, from now on I'll never get angry again. You can't. You're not on the level yet. You don't even have vessels. Because this is like building Rockefeller Center, right? A person can say, the next 10 minutes I don't want to get angry. So Satan is also not so angry, because he thinks, okay, I'll wait 10 minutes, right? But those 10 minutes give you so much inner strength. After 10 minutes, you think, Baruch Hashem, it was okay. Make it another 20 minutes. There's a whole Torah from Rabbi Arle. He says, we all are not idiots. We promise God so much in Yom Kippur, how come we never keep it? So he says the problem is, because we make such big vows, right? It's beyond us, we don't have vessels for it. So Rabbi Arle says, on Yom Kippur, I should make a vow tonight. And the first night after Yom Kippur, I can control it, right? On Yom Kippur, make a vow, tonight I'm learning. I make a vow, I'm learning every night. Doesn't go, right? Yom Kippur night, I make a vow, and also don't make a vow, I'll learn 6 hours. You won't learn 6 hours, right? I remember one person came up to me, Mama, she says, I made a vow. I'm in jewelry business. From now on, I'm learning 10 hours a day and just be in my business 2 hours. It's gewalt, right? I called him up 3 days later and asked him, so, how's everything? He said, don't ask. I've never learned so little in my whole life. I said, don't make vows 10 hours a day. You're a businessman, and the whole time you're thinking of your jewelry. Make a vow to learn 20 minutes a day. And then you'll make half hour, another hour. And I tell you one more thing Rabbi Arla says, which is important. This is based on the Torah from the Holy Workers. Gewalt. Okay, I have to take David as an example because I got to yell at somebody. So imagine I'm mamish angry at David al-Chasashon. Couldn't happen, brother.
Never.
Imagine Chasashon, I'm angry, right? Or David is angry at me, which is more possible because I really am bad. Okay, listen to me, brothers. And in the middle, you know when you get angry, you get into it, right? It's like learning Torah. First floor, second floor, third floor, the elevator is shaking a little bit, but why should I get out now? You know, I'm going to a higher floor. And every second, then comes to a point where you're so angry that you're mamish letting loose in the most vulgar way, right? That we're not even masters of ourselves anymore. And words come out of our mouths which we don't even believe that we know those such words, right? And imagine if at that moment I decide, let's use better words. I don't stop yelling, but it's more menschish, right? A little bit more human. There's also gewalt. So here is a Torah Mendele book. It says, kidushim to you, be holy. And the Gemara, it's a play on words. But the Gemara says, hey you, it means wherever you are. So Mendele book says, we always think, the Amshna Rebbe is holy, the Amshna Rebbe is holy, me, I'm a creep, I'm not holy. It's not true. Wherever you are, on that very level, you can be holy. I'm telling you a dirty joke, and in the middle I decide, maybe I use one bad word less. That's holy. I'm angry at somebody, and Chas v'Shalom, I tear them apart. I decide, let's tear them apart a little bit less. That's also holy. You know, everything in heaven, everything counts. You know, we have no idea. There's a Torah from Rabbi Shlomo. I told it 2,000 times, so you have to forgive me. It will be 2001. What's the difference between a mother and a maid? Fewer differences, right? But he says like this. You take a baby and you teach the baby how to walk. So every two minutes the baby's falling, right? So the maid says, oh, he's falling again. It's disgusting. It's going on my nerves. Why did I take this job as a maid, you know? I could have been the wife of Rothschild and said, you know. She's yelling at the baby, why are you falling again? You know, can't you learn already how to walk? And what's the mother saying? Can't believe Moshe took one step. Gewalt. How do I deserve to see this, right? The same way if you look at another person like a maid, then you're angry with them. Why don't you learn over to be a mensch, you know? But if you look at another person like a mother, then the smallest thing, how much blows your mind. You know, Rav Nachman says not only we have to look up at other people, not down, we have no right to look down at ourselves. And this is a Torah of Rabbi Nachman, which is a class Torah, it's good to remember. Rabbi Nachman says when you look down at the shade of the sun, it looks like the sun has moved 1 inch, right? But you know, the inch down here is thousands of miles up there, right? So he says when you look down at somebody else, you think, they haven't moved maybe 1 inch in 10 years. But up there, thousands of miles, right? Well, you know, in the sukkah, this is really deepest. I don't know how many of you have been privileged to sit with, I had the privilege, my Rebbe for sukkahs is Bobov, you know. Like, I don't want to knock Lubavitch, but it's not Bobov, right? Every Rebbe has their specialty. And in Bobov, when he sits in the sukkah, he doesn't take his eyes off the schach. You know what the schach is? I'm looking up the whole time, right? On Yom Kippur, I stand before God and realize I made so many mistakes. You know why all my mistakes came from? Because I look down at myself all the time. I look down and I say, you're terrible. From last year till this Yom Kippur, from this Yom Kippur to last Yom Kippur, I moved 1 inch. Not true. Hey, Dovidl is here. Cham. I tell you, we have to sing one thing. Tell you why. First of all, Dovidl is here. And second, because Brother Betzalel, yesterday he walked his sister to the chuppah, so Mamish, he's have a chosn and a kala himself. I would say, you want to give me the guitar? Yes, it's not all they left already. Yeah? They're staying here, they go on 100 from here. Yeah. I was really happily surprised over Ben, he was really sweet, you know? When you look at him and his brother, you know? What? And you know, unbelievable, same family. You know? What are we going to sing? Okay. That's beautiful. Rahman Boy means, in other words, you know, take the heavy load off my shoulders.
Compassionate one, take
The heavy load off my shoulders.
Take the heavy load off my shoulders.
What you know, Rabbi Nachman says that the heaviest thing in the world is guilt. Because you can't carry it. It's lying on you and doesn't let you move. Mamish doesn't let you move. So, it's this Rachmona Proig Master of the world, take off the heavy load from me. From Slichus. Yeah. Well, you know something, Rab Nachman says, you know there is bad and there's evil. When you do something wrong, it's bad. To walk around with guilt feeling is evil. Because when I do something wrong, it's bad, right? When I feel evil, what is evil? I say to myself, I'm evil, right? That's evil. Remember, we're learning the whole time that you know, sometimes between friends is so deep. So you make a mistake. And then you think, because you made one mistake, they stop being your friends. I mean, it takes one lollipop to destroy the friendship. And this is all there is to it. You're not friends in the first place, right? Let's assume, God forbid, I forgot to confess to Dovitos, my major confessor, and to Mimi, assistant confessor, that 2 weeks ago on Shabbos, couldn't control myself anymore. Passed by a doggy diner, and suddenly I realized the Torah says when you're very hungry, Pukach Nefesh Torah Shabbos, right? You can do anything. I mean, it's not true, I'm just taking an example. Because one time I said it and people thought it was true, you know. So I have to make it clear. Anyway, so I'm walking into the doggy diner. Baruch Hashem, hot dog was gewalt. But what happened to me after? I thought to myself, I'm so bad. I don't even deserve to have shalashubas. I was so broken, I decided, forget it. I'm not a Jew anymore. I'm going to the movies. Then comes Rabbi Malka. I look at myself, I says, you going to have another Malka? You really think David HaMelech is interested in Yom Rabbi Malka? Forget it. I'm going to a singles bar. The next morning I'm supposed to learn from 10 to 12. It's no use, I'm bad. You know what guilt does to you? Guilt is destroying your life, not what you did wrong. Because you'll fix it. You say, God, Master of the world, forgive me, I made a mistake, I'm only human. I want you to know something I don't want to get into now, but this is the truth. There's a passage in Koheles, it says, Mekoimcho al Tanach. Don't leave your place. Imagine, spiritually I'm living on 150th floor, right? By mistake, I took the wrong elevator and went all the way down. Go right back. Go right back. Your place is still there. Hey, brother, which planet are you coming from? Don't tell me it's your son. Hey. Yeah, we just have it, just got it here. Brother, I want you to give a big hand because Moshe Avram sponsors this whole book. It's unbelievable. You know, you never know. One person begins playing the songs of Shabbos, then he thinks, maybe I should really keep it a little bit. And then he thinks, why a little bit? Maybe a lot, right? Everything starts somewhere. Hey, David, how you doing, brother? Every Shabbos I ask your father where you are. Is that true? Yeah. Okay, we're glad you're here. Just remember, this Torah will change my life. Ramotele Chernobyl says, if you do the most terrible thing in the world, and after that, you cannot daven mincha like on Yom Kippur, being so close to God, you're a pagan. That means you don't really believe in God. Because if you know what God is all about, okay, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Is my connection to God so little that one mistake can cut it? Can't be, right? Also between friends, you know something. If a person can make a mistake and the friendship stops, that means it was not a friendship in the first place. An acquaintance, right? Chaim. But anyway, so this song is Rachmona Proig, Master of the world. If God forbid ever walk around with guilt feelings and it's so heavy, take it off me. Maybe we should sing in A minor. Because then I can sing the second part, but I can.
Rachmana Prok.
Pei Reish Wov Kuf. Means take off my load. Friends, you have to do me a personal favor. One of my super top friends just asked me I should say one little teaching on kidush. Hey brother, you listening?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. How about moving closer? Then I have to yell. Because he's telling me he's teaching about Kiddush to some young people. I'll make it fast. You give me your sweetest attention for 1 minute. You know, wine, in so to speak, in Kabbalistic terms, is a symbol of all the powers in the world which make you forget everything. What happens to a person that's very sad, they want to forget their trouble, they get drunk. Because wine has the power to make you forget. Makes you forget your trouble, but sadly enough, a little bit side effect, it also makes you forget that you're a human being. Makes you forget that you're the image of God and you're below sea level. You remember the story? It's in the Medrash, the whole thing that the king came out, he says, anybody who gets drunk will be punished severely. The next day he walks on the street and this drunkard is lying there in mud, you know. So they asked him, the king, well, how are you going to punish him? He's punished enough, he said. Stop being a human being, right? Anyway, you know what we do with wine? We take wine, and because of the wine, I remember that there's one God. I remember that there's Shabbos. I take wine and I say, Zocha et Yom HaShabbos L'Kasha. You know what it is? You think it's really the fault of the wine that I forget? I want to forget, I put it on the wine, right? I drink so much wine, I vomit all over the place, then I say, I was drunk. You want to lose your dignity, you want to look like I don't know what. And I want you to know something. I'm taking the wine, and if you know how I make kiddush, I'm holding the kiddush cup in the palm of my hand. You know what I'm telling the wine? You're not my master. I'm your master. Because there is no power in the world which can make me forget that there's one God. There is no power in the world that can make me forget. You know, Imish Koch Yerushalayim. There's no power in the world that can make us forget. And listen to this is really the best part. By the world, how do you show ownership? I take something and I step on it, right? How do I show ownership, God forbid, to another human being? Bow down before me, lie on the floor. How does God show ownership? He lifts us up. Can't finish show, right? How did God buy us out of Pharaoh to be his slaves, so to speak? See, when we are Pharaoh's slaves, he puts us down. The moment you're God's servants, God says, I lifted you up on eagle's wings, right? Go out. You know, once I had the privilege, like, I was somewhere, I said, tonight we have a PTA meeting, parents should live long and happy. I told you my uncle's Torah, which is the best Torah. He says, Mashiach can only come when instead of sending children to school, we'll send the parents to school, you know. It's a Gewalt Torah, you know. But anyway, I said to them, you know, the way you show that you are the owners of the children of Chashem, the masters of the children, you put them down. That's why they're angry at you. If you want to really show that you're the master like God, you lift them up. You know what it means? I lifted you up on eagle's wings. Nobody can fly as high as an eagle, right? It means I lift you up like beyond your dreams, beyond where you thought you can fly. So, you know, every Friday night, we get out of the slavery of the week, of becoming again God's servants. Go out, lift me up, right? Fine. Okay, what are we learning right now? What do you have, brother? This is heavy. Oh, very. Didn't even know what the let myself into.
We also did more again with cars, but it might be good to just...
You learned this already?
Yeah, we learned that and reviewed
You
the
didn't finish
first part of
Ka'as
cars.
either from yesterday.
What?
You didn't finish Ka'as from yesterday, when we got...
I know Kaz is a long Torah. So, okay, since Sister Tamar says we should learn more Kaz, okay. Should get more angry. I'm learning Ches. This is very heavy. And maybe this is one little reason to keep us away from anger. This is awesome. Mamash. You know, friends, when God wants to give us something, Mamash, 1 second before He gives it to us, He gives us just one little test. Meaning to say, God wants to give you something, a gift, but there is a little bit of an admission charge to get into it. The admission charge is that God gives you a little test. And if you go through it, you're on the level. This is awesome. Friends, I need you to open your hearts really in. It is so heavy that it's awesome. You know, everything which belongs to us is part of our soul, right? Little spark. Imagine, again, me and Dovis were going to a store to buy shirts. And suddenly, before I know it, Dovis was standing on this corner looking for shirts, and I'm on the other side looking for shirts. Why is that? Because there's a shirt which has a little spark of me waiting for me to buy it. So I'm going this way, because those sparks have tremendous charisma, right? But Dovital has a shirt on the left side, you know. Everything which belongs to us has something with us, right? Not so simple, right? How does anybody know how to buy a dress even? Or even more so. Let's say, for instance, you're looking for a new house, right? Nobody can tell you which house to buy. You walk there and suddenly you feel, oh, this is where I belong, right? But you know what it is? That means when God wants to give you money, that means, I want you to know something very special. But the Gemara, money is something which puts you on your feet. I have freedom to walk. I have freedom to move, right? You know, in a very sad place, a very sad way, the homeless people, they live on the street, you would say they are the most infinite people. They have the whole street, right? No, they have nothing. Right? I live in a house, I have a little bit together, I have the whole world.
Not so long. It's not eternal. It's a temporary structure.
I understand. I didn't mean physically, you know, but
Burn down, and you can be a homeless person tomorrow.
yeah, it's true, 100%.
You change people's guard from one day to the next.
Now you see, I didn't take it as an utmost true example, but I'm just going to put them in a framework to think about it, right? Between infinite and infinite. There's some people live in a house and they're the most creepy people, so it's not always. I know what you mean, darling, but that didn't mean it's always. Anyway, money puts you together, right? What happens to you when you get angry? Then all the sparks want nothing to do with you. Remember we were learning yesterday, when you get angry, your soul runs away from you. Meaning to say, you know, whatever you have, at that moment you are angry, you are mamish poor, right? There's nothing left of you. So before God gives you some money, He tests you. Hey brother, can you keep it together? And one more thing, if I can get angry and I don't, then those sparks drawing, I mean, the charisma is awesome, right? So Rabbi Nachman says, let it be clear to you, at that moment when you want to get angry, at that moment we're decided in heaven to give you some, I don't know how much, you know. Could be between 5 cents and 2 million. Rabbi Nachman doesn't say how much, right? But there is something to it, right? And if you are not getting angry, keep yourself together, right? Sparks come, right? If you get angry, then they're giving in to you. And this is so heartbreaking. You know, we were learning it yesterday, you know, cruelty destroys your soul, right? But sad enough, Satan is a little bit wild. Not only he wants to destroy your heart and your soul with cruelty, mamish, he wants to take away your money economy. He wants mamish to destroy you. Sad enough, there is a power in the world which wants to destroy you. You okay, Moshe Avram? You okay? Oh, good. Heilige Moshe Avram. There's a yarmulke like this, you could be the biggest Rebbe in the world. Then Rabbi Nachman says something else. Imagine I have a very good name. People say, the moment I get angry, let's say in order to have a good name, you need 5,000 sparks together, right? But when I get angry, those sparks are running out. That means when I get angry, I'm ruining my good name, which is so deep, you know. I mean, can you imagine all those rabbis, you know, how hard they worked? You know, I want you to know something. To be the master of anger is not a question of sitting here in your car and deciding. It's a lifetime. It's mamash a lifetime. A lifetime of really mamash wanting to purify ourselves from cruelty. Because anger is so cruel. Oh, God, it's so cruel, right? And it's not only cruel to the person you're yelling at, Gewalt, are you cruel to yourself, right? So here, Rabbi Nachman says, first of all, you lose what God wants to give you. You're also losing your good name. And also something, would you like to be friends with someone who is always angry? And you know what Rabbi Nachman says? When you are full of anger, even the people who love you, they may not tell you, trying to keep away from you. Right. I was sitting, not so long ago, someone was driving me. That means a woman was driving me and the two kids were sitting in the back. Nothing really was happening. I don't want to say anything bad, but you know, there's a red light and the car's cutting in, and the car's cutting out, you know. The way people react when they're driving with a bit dirty language. And something happened and this woman lets loose. And I looked in the mirror at the faces of the kids, you know. I could see it like they want nothing to do with their mother. They want nothing to do with her. They were ashamed to be in the same car with her. So it is mamish anger. Awesome.
Behind anger, there is pain. That's what modern psychology tells us.
It's true.
Not anger. If you don't hear the heart that's bleeding behind the anger, you are superficial.
I didn't
You're
say.
not deep.
Man and darling, you didn't hear what we were learning yesterday. I never said when you're angry at that moment you should control your anger. If you're angry, then tell them.
But your whole philosophy of what you said yesterday and today is very much from Rabbi Nachman. And I don't agree with Rabbi Nachman on many points.
Okay, man, I'll tell you what, you have a right not to agree.
It's the pain. He doesn't hear the pain behind the anger. He doesn't hear where the anger is sourcing from.
Darling, you're 100% right. We are talking about 10 years before it happened. Remember learning it? We're not talking about that moment. Your whole framework in your head has to change. You're full of pain. You know what the world is? I'm full of pain because Moshe hurt my feelings. Then I meet Yankel and I get angry at Yankel. No.
It's a story of Cain and Abel. Cain is a very...
Darling, Marilyn, I love you, but right now people are learning Rabbi Nachman. And you know, what you're saying is very delicate because I'd say the Germans, never. There was so much pain behind it. No. Even if it's your pain, don't lose your God image. You have no right to yell at somebody and destroy them. And again, if you're in pain, why didn't you tell them I'm in pain? If they're your friend, tell them I'm in pain. Tell them what you need. You know what's so special in the Torah? I have to mention it again. When you're angry at someone, you have no right not to tell them. It says, don't hate someone in your heart. You know why? Because most of the time, when we're angry at someone, it was a mistake. It was just a complete misunderstanding. And you can walk around your whole life being angry, and then you find out it was just a mistake. Or, most marriages go broke because they don't tell each other when they're angry at each other.
Communicate.
Sorry, what?
Communicating,
yeah. But again, you don't have to let loose and use a... Some people think when you're angry, you have to use a real vulgar language, then you vomit it out. Listen, if you want to vomit, you don't have to add to it. You ever seen someone wants to vomit and praying God, give me more vomit, I don't feel... Why don't you please let me vomit out 10,000 tons, Leave something in your kishkis. Okay, what?
How do you get out from the bottom, if you've gotten angry at someone and you've let it out,
Yeah.
and you've gotten down to the very bottom floor, how do you get back up to the 150th?
Okay, listen, it's a good question.
Where did it come from?
Wait. When you're at the bottom floor, what's the first thing you're doing? You're looking for the elevator, right? First thing is, don't stay where you are. Imagine you yell at somebody and you vomit it out, right? And if you are strong enough to regret it, the first thing is walk up to the person and say, I swear to you that every word I said was a lie. Because I don't mean it, I was just angry. Because they also feel bad, right? And you don't know who feels worse, the one who's yelling or the one who's yelled at. See, Mama, both at the bottom, right? So take the elevator together. Remember, Rabbi Nachman says, when you're angry at somebody, at that time, that moment, you can fix their neshama and fix your neshama. Have a little taste what the purpose of life is all about. Because the purpose of life is not to yell at somebody. The purpose of life is to lift somebody up. And when I see the other person doing so much wrong, say, listen, I lift you up, you lift me up. And I tell you something else. If you're angry at a person, we're never angry at somebody we don't care for, right? We only are angry at somebody we love. So I say to this person, if you have the power to make me angry, maybe you have the power to lift me up also. Right? I told you the time, you don't step on somebody's toes unless you're very close, right? I cannot sit in Alaska and step on your toes, right? You see what it is? Promise me not to get into politics. Our biggest problems is Esav, who's the brother of Yitzchak, right? And the brother of Yaakov, Yishmael, because you have to be very close to be angry at each other. You know my Torah about anti-Semites. Gewalt, are they close to us? They think about us all the time, right? It's Gewalt, right? They think about us all the time. That means, in a certain deep way, they're very close to us, right? But what you have to do is turn it over. If I'm so important to you that you walk around thinking of me all the time, instead of thinking bad, think good, right? You see, those people who don't care about us, don't even know where Israel is, for them to be close to us, maybe Mashiach can do it, right? Let's do 2 more minutes here. This is Gewalt. First of all, Rabbi Nachman says when you're angry, you can't pray. I'm yelling at my children, yelling at Moshe, I'm yelling at Yankel, then I say, I'm late, I got to go to shul to daven mincha. What kind of a mincha is this, right? I want you to know something. By all the big rabbis, when they were looking for a shliach tzibur, for a cantor, for a chazan, today the world is asking that you have voice training, and are you wearing a tie, and are you on time? By rabbis, the most important thing was, Are you always getting angry? If you're not a schlechter, right? Because what am I asking God? Mamish, Hamtoku Satinim, don't be angry at us, right? So how can a person who always yells and is angry tell God, don't be angry? God says, look at yourself. You know, I tell you my best, the cartoon I saw, a person has banana peels over his ears, 2 carrots sticking out of his nose, a poached egg on his head. And he walks into a therapist, he says, I came to talk to you about my brother. It's most of us, you know. Okay, one more thing, friends. Rabbi Nachman says when you're angry, you never finish anything. For some of us, Gewalt. You know, we wonder, why don't we finish? We think to ourselves, why don't we have so many plans? Because our anger, in order to finish something, you have to be together. I wish to be together. And I want you to know, this is the Torah which I hope all of us remember. There's a beginning and there's an end. The beginning of the world is that God created heaven and earth. The end is that Mashiach is coming and will redeem the world. Listen to this. Mama should make a vow. From now on, I'm beginning to learn, let's say, Masechtas Zvochem. I still hope that one day we'll learn Kol Shem Yisrael Chaber together. And I'm quetching, I never finish it. You know why? Because I'm not connected enough to the spirit of Mashiach. I'm not connected to the end. Whatever I do and I finish it, this is mamish a little revelation of Mashiach. You know, today, without saying anything bad, you see so many young people get engaged, krachzing, quetching, having excuses. So when are you getting married? Yeah, we want to get married in June 98. Why? Because we don't want to hurry, we don't want to just rush, right? In my shul, recently someone came, it's so cute. They know each other 20 years. He is 63 and she is, I don't know, 89 or maybe younger. So I said, you know, they're talking to me. I said, so when did you get married? 20 years hanging around? So he says, yeah, you know, we don't want to rush. Okay, listen, you know, muddled up. I want you to know something awesome. Without getting involved in politics. God gave us the land, the beginning, right? But He hasn't given it us yet completely. Still in the middle, right? Because this is what Mashiach is all about, right? We're waiting, we need it so badly, right? The real final giving. Mamash, right? So Rabbi Nachman says, what gives you the strength not to get angry? Not Bereishis Bo Elokim. Now listen to this very deep. When did anger begin in the world? Not before creation. After creation, after we made so many mistakes, the world is full of anger, right? And what do we need to fix the anger? Mashiach, right? So, being angry does not take away my power to begin. Even when I'm angry, I can begin. But I cannot finish it. I cannot redeem it, right? Well, you know, we have so many unredeemed relationships. We have so many unredeemed, hanging in the world, right? And just remember, it's not a question of 5 minutes. It's a lifetime, right? Mamish, a lifetime. Yeah.
It's not just when a person is yelling. I think we're all walking
Inside.
around a little bit angry all the time.
Yeah. The world is full of things, Nachman says, yeah. Sure, I can smile and be happy, and there's so much anger inside, right? And
What are the fixings we can do to help?
so the greatest fixing is to have compassion on yourself, right? You know, it's easy for us to have compassion with others. And sometimes, because we're not talking about self-pity. Self-pity means I'm angry at everybody else who did me wrong. That's self-pity. And here we're talking Rachmanus, not, I'm putting the blame on other people. I have compassion. The biggest compassion is if you put the blame on yourself and stop doing it, right? Again, without being political. You know what Rav Kook says, remember? I mean, you have to be a Rebbe to say such words. He says redemption will come to Israel when instead of being angry at the whole world, we'll finally have enough guts to be angry at ourselves. That's the deepest, right? And you see, I don't want to say anything bad about Israel or about Jews or about anything. But unless we are angry at ourselves, sometimes we can't fix it. Mamish. Okay, now something very, very deep. I'll tell you something. I see somebody drowning in the ocean, and I'm running down to the ocean to get them out. On the way, somebody stops me and he says, I want you to know I'm disgusted with you. You are terrible. Do I stop to argue? Why not? Because I'm on my way to do something very important. I don't give a damn what you think. And if I am angry at somebody who insults me, it means I'm going nowhere, right? Because if I would mamish, I have to finish Masechtas Zvachim, right? I have to be a servant of God. This is all I'm thinking about. Okay, so you don't like me, might as well, don't have time. And you know what always makes us angry? The most stupid thing in the world. And if I have time for this kind of stupidity, that means you're not connected to something really where you're going. And also, you cannot daven. Because when you mamish full of anger, in the deepest depths you're angry at God, right? If someone says, I'm not angry at God, he's already lying, right? Won't you know the Ishbitzer says the deepest stone in the world? You know what it means to be a pure person? Someone who is not angry at God. Father said deep, right? Ishbitzer. Who asked? Who? Oh, Faye. Listen to this. You know there's two levels, kedusha, holiness, and Torah, purity. So the Ishbitzer says purity means I'm not angry at God, although I don't understand what He's doing. Holy means that I have a little taste of what God is doing. But first you have to stop being angry. And then God shines into you. That you want to know what God is doing is right. More than that, God gives you, takes you into His office and lets you know what's happening. Okay, now one more thing. Where is the headquarters? Shmuel Zagzon. Okay. Where is the headquarters for wiping out anger? Doesn't look like it's Washington. Could be Berlin, but I'm not sure, right? there's only the Holy Land, right? The Holy Land. And you know, friends, there is nowhere in the world where there is so much reason, too many reasons every second to be angry, right? I want you to know, Hashem, now there's already a little bit better by the Holy Wall. The first 2 or 3 years, it was not to be believed. Do you know that every 2 seconds another Yid called the police on another Yid? And I knew it was beyond there. It was not, in ordinary life they could Yidden. But it was, because there we have to wipe out evil, right? Listen to me, I'll tell you. I was disgusted. They walk into the hospital and they're all sick there. Disgusting, right? It's a hospital, right? Yerushalayim is the hospital for anger, right? And the Moshe takes all us creeps and angry people coming to Yerushalayim. And there is our chance, mamish, right? To a four, right? Halavai, right? Now listen to this awesome, awesome, awesome Torah. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu go into Eretz Yisrael? Why did he want to go in so much? This is from Rabbi Nachman. It's a Rabbi Torah. Do you know that Moshe Rabbeinu had the highest God revelation of the world? It was on Mount Sinai. And even whatever Israel can reveal, he had it all. He had all the flashlights, all the psychedelic lights. There's one thing he was missing: to wipe out anger. This is only when you walk the Holy Land. And there goes one step deeper. What's Israel all about? What's anger all about? Imagine when I get angry, when I really get angry, someone says, can you maybe wait with your anger 5 minutes? Then I'm okay, right? Then I'm still in control. Imagine I'm fuming, someone says, listen, wait 5 minutes. Doesn't go. I don't have time, right? Remember the Holy Walker? He said to himself like this: whenever I want to get angry, then I say to myself, I shouldn't get angry. Brother Satan comes to me and he says, you have to get angry because this time it's a mitzvah to get angry. So I say to myself, listen, if it's a mitzvah, let me put on my streimel and my Shabbos stick kapotte. Let's make it Shabbos stick, right? So I go to my room, slowly, I take my Shabbos stick kapotte, my streimel, and my gartel. And by then, you know, it's such a good Torah, right? If you think it's such a mitzvah, chapnish, wait 2 minutes, right? Are you always running after mitzvah so heavily? You know? I have seen you waiting with the mitzvah a long time, right? So you hear what it says. Anger is anger and no patience. I want you to know why God made us wait for Israel 2,000 years? Testing our patience. What's happening now? Again. I say, I don't have patience anymore. Chapnisht, you're learning, right? It's fixing. Now listen to this. Moshe Rabbeinu did not come into Israel because he got angry at the Yidden. And you know what God says to him? Heilige Zisa Moshe, you're not ready yet to fix your anger. You know what Moshe Rabbeinu is doing, Nebuch? He is sitting there outside Israel waiting for Mashiach. And it's already nearly 3,500 years, right? Which is awesome, right? Yeah, what do you want to say?
I just want to ask, because Moshe Rabbeinu, right, we know that he masters his humility.
Yeah. You see, that's what I'm saying. If I would say it, it would be stupid, right? Stupid, it would be blasphemy. How can you say such words? Rabbi Nachman says, Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to come to Eretz to fix his Erech HaPayim. which is patience and anger.
Was it from the story of hitting the rock?
Yeah. That, he hits the rock. So he yelled, he was angry. Once, right. Means the Moshe Rabbeinu once, Avraham, you're going already?
It's also kind of connected to killing the mitzvah.
To whom?
Killing the mitzvah?
No, Chas v'shalom, no. Because he didn't kill him with his hands. He just pronounced God's name.
Oh. No, it wasn't an anger then.
Chas v'shalom. He saved somebody's life, so he's killing him. And it was not, if you remember, this Egyptian was not, this was not the first Jew he wanted to kill.
Oh, okay.
And I want you to know, if you know the Medrash, Pharaoh didn't want to kill the Jews. Pharaoh wanted just to make them slaves. He was like Eichmann. He gave Pharaoh the idea of ultimate solution. Let's kill them. And he began systematically killing the slaves. So, and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't kill him with his hands, just pronounced God's name. You know, like a shmirah for Yidden. He disappeared. But thank you for asking. Chaim. Okay, now, just one more thing, then I want to change the subject. Remember, we're learning that anger smells with paganism. Why does it smell with paganism? Why am I angry? Because things are not the way I want them, right? Since when are you the master? Right? I'll come in here to Yakar, I say to Dovitul, what? What's going on here? Wednesday morning you're learning Rab Nachman? You're crazy? You're supposed to learn Gemara. Then I say, what? Mimi, what are you learning? More Naim. Say, hey, what's going on there? Chutzpah, why do you learn kidush Levi? You know what they'll tell me? It's not your school. You're not the master here. Cool it. I'm in this world, and I think I'm the master. You're not the master. You're not the master at all. That means each time I get angry, it smells from paganism. I think I'm the master. Listen, I have an appointment. Okay, we are two holy hippies, Avraham and I, we're always late, right, Baruch Shem? Imagine. Someone tells me, you hippies, you don't need a watch, you need a calendar. You will come a day later. Or a month later. But let's assume. Let's say Avraham says to me, okay, tomorrow, Wednesday, 12 o'clock, I'll be on Ben Yehuda. But it's a mashbeer. So, I'm also late, so I'm coming 4 in the afternoon. And Avraham hasn't arrived yet. Sit there like a dog for 2 days. Finally, on the 4th day, he comes. And God forbid himself. What's going on? I'm yelling. You know what the problem is? I'm not his master.
Probably waited.
I waited, so he says, I'm sorry you waited, right? But I only yell when I'm the master. Why do parents yell at children? I'm your master. I buy you soup. I pay for your bed. What? I'm not my child's master. I have the greatest privilege in the world. Take care, mamish, of God's angels. Something else, right? What are you yelling at? I just have to tell you again, just for all of us, a lot of people today write books about child education. I'm sure it's good books, but the Rebbes, the real Rebbes, the way they treated their children, so much respect, so much covered, Okay, Eretz Yisrael is the headquarters for patience. And Moshe Rabbeinu, but you know what Rabbi Nachman says? Because Moshe Rabbeinu wanted so much to be connected to Eretz Yisrael. And therefore he's connected in the deepest way by making him wait. You know how connected you are to something when you're waiting for it? I have a date, let's say with Sprinzele, and I'm standing on Ben Yehuda, and there must be waiting for Sprinzele. She comes, Mazel Tov. She doesn't come. Every second I'm waiting, oh, where's my Sprinzele, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu, by waiting, is the deepest connection, right? And you see how deep this is. Moshe Rabbeinu says to God, I have to be in Eretz Yisrael to fix my patience. It's all good. Don't go. It's gewalt, right? Okay, let's learn a little bit about Rachmanis. Or anybody wants to make a little break for 5 minutes? Yeah, to breathe a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. Get rid of all the anger, and then we learn about compassion. Time.
Right now, when we're selling them,
I watch. It's one of those. Well, what was it? Yeah, that was great. That was like completely great.
No, von Sonntag an. Und ich wusste, dass du kommst. Joe, you can talk to her in German. Das ist die Königin des Wiener Judentums.
To get the conference moving, I think you did it already. I have to check
Rabbi Shlomo.
Yeah, sure. You can get it by Holstein. You know, Holstein Pizza Uri? In Gola, yeah.
We're in Meashari.
Ask the show for Pizza Uri. And then in Pizza Uri, you ask where's the record shop.
Do you really have this already?
CD 5, 6.
Digitally mastered?
I didn't even listen, I don't even have it.
And the estates are available also?
Yeah. Pizza Uri. In Gola.
Whatever form you want me to fill, I'll fill.
This is
for this
Yeshua's brother-in-law, my next door neighbor.
I give one.
Remember him? Just sign it. So when are you going
I guess with them during Kabbalat Shabbat.
Delegation,
And
about
when
100
people had in their
people.
minds that if we move here, the
They're
women will
coming
start
on
dancing.
Sunday the 8th. I mean, they're coming on Friday the 7th. Till the 10th. So Shabbos is Casablanca. There'll be a Gewalt Shabbos. Saturday night, hopefully a concert. And then Sunday they have a conference on, I think, Arab and Jewish relationship or something.
So 3 days.
And then Monday night we meet the king.
And he's in charge of all of the...
Now you see the Minister of Tourism in Morocco is the Yid.
Yes.
And he's organizing the whole thing.
See, I didn't play in front of the king.
No, the king is not coming. But the outstanding people will be there. Maybe his rabbits in the domestic house. Maybe his laundryman, I don't know.
I hope so. When he's writing for Avi. Dedication for Avi. Your brother-in-law. You know, we get together Friday night because we're right next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, yeah.
Wonderful night. One of the real gifts of being in it, so very next to them.
How's Brother Amnon doing? Okay.
Good.
The best. Really.
He's spending too much time.
Did Lucy leave a message for me?
Didn't leave a message yet. I called him again before I came, so I'll call you.
Did they?
He didn't leave a message yet. I know, but I'll call you. I'm just supposed to give you the message that the reason why Yeshua is not learning with you is because he's watching Mechel, but he'll come tonight.
I spoke to Yeshua.
You talked to him. Because this morning you talked to him?
Yeah.
All right, because you must have talked to him when I was on the way here. Okay.
So how do I get a hold of this guy?
Where's my plate? He is the cutest brother in the whole world. And I never lie after 12. You ever seen anything so cute?
He sat there and listened to all the teachings.
What do you mean? Every day of his life he used to see the computer we transcribe together.
What is it, transcribe?
Shlomo thing. He's listening to Shlomo all the time. No, he's doing everything. He just sits next to me.
Really?
He's named for Shlomo.
Oh, it's
Really
named.
kind.
Is this your signature here, or?
No, this is
Avi Oleli's signature.
What?
So what's his name? Hassan?
Close to your parents? Are you close to your parents?
Yeah, I am. That's why I
Can I
still
be,
work for me.
can I be your sister's father when I'm here?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. You have to adopt my daughters as your sisters.
I'm next.
That's yours?
No, man.
Summer.
So I was like, Natano, I'm hearing Sarah.
Tomorrow we'll be back. So the one you go. So are you in Pennsylvania?
That means I don't have to kill myself.
Yesterday when I came back from the wedding in Bethel, everybody justified in Bethel. They coached 5 houses and the army want to take it back. So all the issue was
Protecting.
supporting 500 families with the Tida. At night they stay all night there, singing, not all this song.
Think about that.
And there, I don't know what's going to be, but when you be could help to this thing.
Unbelievable.
So who's coming from here? Are you going to travel from here or from the States?
No, I have to come from New York. I'll be back in New York.
Is somebody going from here or from New York with you?
From here, maybe Shmali. I put out the fact that people can come. Then it's going by Astap. His number is, the office is 212 807 7888. And his home is 718 837 7394.
It's a 9.
And he's organizing it?
Yeah, he's all things.
Okay, and I'll tell him that you,
They're there till Tuesday.
Oh, we need to pause this now.
What's form are there? Is the Meshulach now?
What?
Those two form, what are they? Hey, can you give me those two books? Oh. For tomorrow.
Rabbi, I'm apologizing for us, but I have to leave.
What?
I'm apologizing.
Yeah, you don't know that. One have to leave. Okay, we're learning 2 minutes. Can you hold it? Okay, good. I know it's late, but 2 seconds. Where's Shimon, you say? Okay, this is like one of the deepest Torahs in general. You know, there is Yichuda Elor and Yichuda Torah. There is high oneness and there is low oneness. You know, sometimes, a person says, the best way I can explain it to you is, when you fall Koren, Shona, right? Mama should fall down. I had the privilege of seeing 2 people falling down. Let's first say the lower part. In my synagogue, in my shul, the Yeke, Mamash, a German Jew, like, from all 4 sides, right? So I watched him. So a few minutes before falling down, right, he begins to look at the crease in his pants. He thinks, bad scene, I have to fall down, and my pants will be dirty. I just got them from the cleaner. So I saw him running out and got about 55 tons of New York Times, spread them out. He shouldn't get dirty, right? See what it is? He's falling down before God, so he wants to say there's only one God, right? Yeah, but there is only one God, but his pants are still there, right? So he's thinking of his pants. And then when it comes to falling down, Mamish, he goes so slowly down into his knees to make sure that the pants don't get dirty and everything. And he gets up. And maybe in heaven is precious. But he didn't stop being himself for 1 split second, right? Then the old Mojitzer Rebbe, the Mojitzer was maybe 6'4", giant. And I'm sure he must have weighed maybe, I don't know. He was strong like a lion, and his voice. He was one of the only in the world who had the highest range from the lowest to the highest. Like unbelievable, not to be believed. Someone comes from nachman koirem. Chassidim were there, mamash. Everybody was afraid, God forbid, this mamash killing himself. They had carpets and they had everything. Because mamash, when he said nachman koirem, was nothing but God. Nothing else. But you see what it is? Basically, when we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, God is one, at that moment, there's nothing left. There is nothing. And when I say after that, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus U'Leilomot, God's kingdom, you know what the king is? He needs people in the kingdom, right? Shema Yisrael is there's just God. And when I say, blessed be his kingdom, I'm going back to the world. There is a world, but God is the king. You see, when I say there is nothing but God, I don't say God is the king. There's nothing else there, right? The moment I say God is the king, I already say there is a world, but God is the king. So what is my purpose in this world? My purpose in this world is to bring about those two onenesses with God. There are moments when there is nothing but God. But you cannot live like this. If there's, Shema Yisrael say twice a day for 1 second, because they cannot bear it for longer. I'm going to say nothing but God. So then nothing is in my hands, right? So I go back. And something between people the same way. Something you love somebody so much, you stop being yourself, right? Nothing, you're not even there, right? And then sometimes I love you, I'm I and you're you. When it comes to learning, it's the same way. Some people are learning, and every phone call throws me off, and while I'm learning, I'm thinking about 2 million other things. It's low oneness. I'm close to the Gemara, close to the book I'm learning, but I don't stop for 1 second being myself. And then there's a learning, Yichud Eloah. I stop to exist. I want you to know something. There are thousands of stories, Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz, one of the greatest, if you heard of him, but Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz about 250 years ago, he was like, wow. And he would never wear a jacket when he was learning, he was just in a shirt. And one time, it was winter, and didn't understand something, he ran out in the garden, and they couldn't find him because they could not imagine him sitting in the cold garden. He sat there for 12 hours in the cold, and then he came back, and he wasn't even frozen. He was like, he was so much one what he was learning, You are, right? When I was a little boy, I had the privilege of being in the yeshivas. My parents took me to show me yeshiva. So I saw somebody, and they told me he's 17 years old, and the way he's learning 8 hours, stops, eats a little bit, sleeps, then again 8 hours, davens, whatever it is. 8 hours. And he doesn't have a watch, but he asks somebody else to let him know when the 8 hours are over. I watched him. He stopped being himself. He was learning Gemara. So every one of us, we have to go back and forth. There are moments when God wants of us to really forget about ourselves. And then there are moments you can be yourself, but do this. So, sometimes a person talks to you, but they are so much themselves, it smells so much from them, that the words don't really enter you, right? Listen, I will tell you, I think you should keep Shabbos. But while I'm saying it, I think, listen, me and Shabbos. Look at me. Shabbos thing. How does rubs you the wrong way, right? You don't want to hear what I'm doing on Shabbos. You want to know what's the Torah saying you should do on Shabbos, right? So me and Shabbos, so you and I are on a very low kind of oneness, right? And sometimes someone says to you, Mamish, tell me what really is, right? Most people, when they talk, we cannot help being a little bit ourselves, right? I'm not annihilating myself. Do you know the Holy Rishner? When he would say Torah, he would say, Zugir, I say. And when he said I say, he didn't mean I. I say, right? Because King David, when he was talking, he didn't say yes or no, he would say I say. Because King David would not open his mouth unless it's chiming into him from above. So the story is that the Heilige Tzadiger, the son of the Rishner, when he became a Rebbe, the first time when he said the word I say, which is awesome, all his teeth fell out from his mouth. He was shivering so much, He's mamish, annihilating himself completely. Anyway, he said enough today, even all the Rishner Rebbes don't say anymore, I say, No. Who will stand here with, I say this, I say. But they can just talk like a human being, cut it out, right? Because it's not for real. Right? The last Yana who said I say was in New York. I told you 1,000 times, some of you, the last night of Chanukah, always my brother and I went to his tish. He would walk in and he would say, Zugir, I say, today is the last day of Chanukah. But when he said it, the floor was wet with tears. Last day of Chanukah. Awesome. And then the whole Torah, let's say the Torah was half hour. But out of the half hour, 20 minutes was I say, right? I say. He was on the level, obviously. When he said Torah, it was on the level of high oneness, right? It was stop being himself. Do you know the Rabbi Lemelech found on the desk of his desk, his son had written down the Torah, he says, B'shal Shus. Right? Rabbi Lemelech looks at it, he says, wow, this is gefault, Torah. So he says to him, why, you said it. He didn't remember. The Holy Sanzer, you remember? The Holy Sanzer, by the third meal of Shabbos, they would sing, and then he would say Berg Ragufen, and then he would say Torahs. Nobody could hear what he says. Just his lips would be moving. And this could last between 5 minutes and sometimes 14 hours. But I'll be sitting here. You'll walk out on me. They will leave a note. When you wake up, call me. When he was, and the Chassidim called it the Stille Torah, the silent teaching. So when he began the silent teaching, everybody in the room was out of their body. You didn't have to cough. You have to go to the bathroom. The only thing is, you have to stand somewhere, right? So everybody wanted to stand somewhere. But this story I heard in Bobov. His grandfather, Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, when he was an orphan, his father was alive, and he was, let's say, 12, 13 years old, comes for a third meal, and it's dark, hundreds of people, and he was like hanging in the air. And he knew every second now my grandfather's beginning to say the silent teaching, and I have nowhere to put my second foot on. He had one foot on the ground and the other one in the air. So suddenly, feeling his way around in the dark, he hit on something, looked solid. And the Torah was 10 hours. After 10 hours, someone would come in and bring in 2 candles so he could see the whole floor sweat with blood, because what he put his foot on is on a rusty nail, and the nail had completely penetrated his foot. But you see, doing the silent teaching, he didn't feel anything. He's 12 years old, and those days they had no penicillin. God forbid this boy, or they amputate the foot or anything. He ran on to his grandfather, and he loved him. He says, "Oh, Shlomo," he says, "what happened?" So he says, "I stood on a nail, and it penetrated the whole foot." So he says, "When did it happen?" So he says later, doing this silent teaching, he says, "What's that?" He says, "Don't you know that after you sing Mizmor David, you mamish just saying Torahs?" And the son says, "Yes. Is this so?
Yeah.
Is it really so?" "I didn't know," he said. But then he says, "If it happened during that time, if I would be you, I wouldn't worry." So it never hurt him. There was always a hole in his foot, but it never hurt him. I want you to know something. Again, imagine I see somebody drowning. What happens to me at that moment? I stop being myself. Right? It's high oneness. Someone says, "Give me $5," it's low oneness. Rabbi Nachman says, what we are messengers of God is to bring into the world these 2 levels of oneness. That for moments everybody has to be like mamish one with God, or mamish one with what you're learning or what you're doing. And then, but most of the time, for 23 hours a day, there's also a high level, low oneness. Means I know I have to be one with this. So Rabbi Nachman says, when you utter words in a high oneness, it's like a torch. Every word is shining into your heart. Good Shabbos, good Yom Tov, Mamash, thank you so much for learning.
Thank you, Shlomo. A few words before you